Hey horror fans, thanks for joining me for this review of Apartment 413. Alright, 413. Cast and crew information down below. And let's start off with this IMDb plot here. Marco is running out of time to find a job before his girlfriend Dana has their first baby. He's also losing his mind. Ooh, not good. Alright, this is another recent digital release. One that I came across doing a press release for Promote Horror for. So, honestly, I took a chance on this one because Brea Grant is in it, and big fan of hers. We've seen her in a lot of movies lately. After Midnight and what is this one? Lucky and 12-Hour Shift. She wrote and directed. Certainly some movies I hope you guys have checked out if you haven't already done so. So when I saw that she was in this movie, I figured this would be worth watching. I guess on the flip side of that, I was a little disappointed that she was not in it a little bit more. Obviously, like I just said, I was here to see her, and she's certainly in it to a point, but the story kind of follows Marco a little bit more, and it's a little bit more involving him, and I guess if I really would have read the IMDb plot before, I should have guessed that, but she's in it, so just, wanted a little bit more, but whatever. So here we go. Is you do have the character Marco here, and he spends a ton of time in this apartment 413, and not gonna see him get out of it too much. Just actually thinking, did we see him out of this apartment? I don't know, not much, if we did at all. But he's there, and he's doing his thing, and that's apparently where they live. And it's time for him to get a job. She's got a good job, but she's also pregnant and so forth. And as the days go, it's going to come time for her to kind of take a break, and they can really use him to have a job and bring in some money and so forth. They're kind of, besides her getting a paycheck, they're also a little bit living on, I guess, her parents' money and so forth, which is a little bit of an issue. But for the most part, they seem to get along, or trying to get along. Obviously, they're going to have some disagreements here or there, and obviously she's pushing him to get a job and take their situation seriously. And he does to a certain point. But as it says in the description there, he's also losing his mind at a point. So, he's kind of his own worst enemy here, and trying to reach out and call people for a job and so forth. It's not going as well in some cases. I think there's going to be some scenes where he gets into it with people on the phone, which that's never going to get you a job. There are things that are kind of unraveled here, that you're going to wonder, what is happening to him that is doing it. And is it, totally him losing his mind? Is something else happening? And, being a new movie and so forth, I want to keep this as spoiler-free as possible. There's going to be something that kind of happens in here, and I think probably one of the most interesting things is you're going to see him do a lot of things in the apartment. There's a time where he cleans up, or at least he thinks he cleans up, and then she comes home, and he quickly realizes that maybe he didn't clean up, and she's like, what is this mess? And he gave the appearance that he cleaned up, but he obviously didn't, or maybe he did, and it's just a different way of him seeing it and her seeing it. And that might cause an argument here or there. But over the course of the time, like I said, I hope Brea was in it a little bit more, and she's not. And also, you're seeing a lot of him in the apartment, and you're going to see him do a lot of different things. And there's one thing he kind of does in particular that might be a little weird or whatever, but it's going to play a greater role in what is happening here. And I thought that was one of the more interesting, I don't know if you want to call it a twist. In a way, maybe it was a twist, but is to kind of take something that you thought was just maybe something that you even laugh at and make it more important than it really should have been and overlooked. And hopefully I'm not ruining it. If you haven't seen the movie, probably not much of a clue, and I'm not sure you would, anyway, but I think once it comes later on in the movie and you see it, you'll hopefully know what I'm talking about. But I guess, we'll just call it the true source of, or what they say is the true source of why he's kind of gone mad here. Obviously, being in the apartment itself and not leaving doesn't really help. I don't remember it saying whether there was a reason why, besides him just looking for a job, why he doesn't really leave the apartment that much or at all. But I think you could see that as a starting place. But obviously the apartment might have a little bit more of a role in what is going on and why he's losing his mind. But I think what happens is, as you see, also as he's losing his mind, is that there are a few other characters that he sees out the window, and one in particular, and you'll see him have an interaction with this character a little bit more as the later in the movie goes on, and I think that kind of makes you kind of really see the way he's seeing it. And then in turn, the movie has a pretty good twist then with that. And, I'm going to admittedly say that, watching some of the scenes of him alone, especially early on, it's a little tough. It's not the easiest to go through. How long is this movie? Does it say here? Okay. It's an hour and 20 minutes. Okay, so I guess, they're not really pushing the bounds there, but I guess in a way, maybe could have trimmed that down a little bit more, or maybe moved it, in a further direction a little bit faster, says the person with reviews that are probably longer than they should be. Self-awareness is good. Anyway, yeah, I just, him there at the beginning and some of the scenes, alone, I know they're kind of painting a picture and kind of giving you a lot of different things. And like I said, there's going to be one thing he does in particular that's going to play a role in what's going to happen later on in the film. It's not to say none of that stuff's important, but I think, watching a character alone in an apartment, for a while, comes a little bit hard as an audience member or someone watching it. Brea does come in, like I said, and she does, but she works, so she's not there all the time. So, he has these conversations with her, and I guess it's not really Brea, it's her character Dana. So you're gonna see Marco and Dana have these conversations, but since she's not there a whole lot of the time, it's just more time spent on him. And again, he's kind of looking for his job, and even when some of the weird stuff starts to begin with, it's not truly exciting until later on. Maybe the first half of this movie is not going to go the way you want, and it never becomes a super actiony kind of movie. So you're just gonna have to bear with it. I think when it comes time with it, at least to me, and the thing that I liked most was this twist that happens, and kind of having this one thing be more important than you really thought it was, and then once that's kind of revealed, you're like, oh, okay, that's kind of why it seemed weird and why they kept showing it and so forth. So I can kind of appreciate, once you see where the story kind of goes and ends up being, you can maybe appreciate some more of that stuff that you had to go through. Doesn't make it the most exciting watch. Doesn't make it a bad watch, but maybe not the most exciting watch. But it's gonna get there. So I liked the twist, and again, trying to be spoiler free, it's hard just to kind of say what's going on here at the end that I liked. But I liked the way it ended. I liked what they did there to kind of finish it off, and kind of where what Marco does to kind of get to his happy place. I guess that's the best way to say it. Obviously, he's losing his mind. He's going to come to some realization and figure some stuff out. The audience is going to kind of see more about what's going on here. And, then it's kind of be what's going to happen to Marco next and so forth. So I think, it was an interesting little twist, and I liked how they went about that. And I guess that's the best way I can say it without completely ruining the movie for you guys, which I never really want to do unless I really, really have to. Sometimes I really have something to say. I really have to talk about it, and I'll tell you that we're going into spoiler territory, and I'm going to ruin it because I have to. I don't think I have to tell you here, but I think that's it. So, really, the main thing of this movie is you're just gonna have to hang in there until we kind of reveal things, and then I think it'll be make it or break it. Either it'll be revealed and you're kind of like, whatever, that wasn't interesting to me, or you're gonna be like, oh, okay, and you'll kind of appreciate what they did there. And again, I think if you turn this on and you see it's apartment 413, you might kind of get what you expect. And, I'm going to make an assumption that, again, this is probably, does it say here? 2019. Okay, then maybe not. It says 2019, even though it's just kind of released now. I thought maybe it was 2020, and, this could have been a good movie made under, the COVID apocalypse here. Being in mostly one apartment and a small cast. But I guess maybe they did it a little bit before, so I don't know. But anything you kind of see apartment 413 kind of screams that you're going to be in a smaller location, so maybe not as much is going on. But it's not a ghost story or anything like that. We've seen some of the other apartment movies be ghost and whatever. But here he's kind of, it's his mind that's messing with him here. So with that, I think I'm gonna give it a 2.5 pools of blood. Kind of in the middle. Like I said, I probably liked where it ended up and so forth. And, maybe getting there wasn't the most fun ride. But it did enough for me at the end to make up for that. So that's where we are for this one. Yeah, and I, even though she wasn't great in this, it wasn't like some of her other roles. Hopefully the next one Brea does will be more worth it, but definitely worth checking out. A lot of her work, whatever she's involved with, seems to turn out well enough. So with that, not cast and crew. See, I'm all confused there. horrorsgoryreviews.blogspot.com, where you can find more reviews, written and video. If you're just interested in the video reviews, hit the subscribe button, subscribe to the channel. But if you want written reviews as well, there's plenty there. Going way back, Twitter, Facebook information is down below as well. Reach out to me. We can talk about this movie if you've seen it. If you want more information about the movie, you want to talk about horror, other movies, you can do that as well. If you have something you want me to review, we can do that or try to arrange that. You can reach out to me there as well. Twitter, probably a little bit better than Facebook, but whatever is your means there. And also the comments section. Feel free to leave a comment there, comment about this video, comment about the movie, either or if you want to message me about reviewing something, you can do it there as well. That's fine. Um, One way or the other, all about communication. So with that, I will catch you on the next review, horror fans.